Tweeting out to the folks out there while I'm waiting for confirmation of that. I'm gonna, of course, remind you guys to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for the email list. Lola is throwing up deals, so if you look on there, you see Lola's deals. You can find lots of links to all the different places we're on, social media, etc. You can also get patches from us. The patches are available on hankstrange.com. That's the only place to buy it from. So there you go. We've got 2 patches right now, and if you guys get either one or both of these patches, we always prefer if you get both. But anyway, Lola's sending out gun vote stickers along with that. So, to all the people out there, help us, help support the channel, get those patches. Go to hankstrange.com. Big shout out to Walther Arms for sponsoring the show tonight as well. Shout out to all you guys who are out there. Please smash the thumbs up as you guys are coming in here. We really do appreciate that. Let me start throwing the fellas up in the screen. Here we go. All right, I'm going to hit the open here. Let's go. And where is it? Come on.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation.
Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. All right, guys, you know what it is. It's Friday. Jazz hands, come on. Mike, let's see those. Mike is very nonplussed. He's like, I'm very cool. I'm not worried about anything. It's totally awesome. There you go. Jazz hands. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on because we are live. And it is, as I said, finally Friday. This is episode 647 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. My guests tonight are Ron, the EDC. The EDC guy is here. Ronald, what's up, man? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing? How's everything going with you?
Pretty good, man. Like I said, it was a shaky thing. I'm disappointed in AT&T, but we got it up and running, so I'm ready.
Yeah, so I think you were explaining to me behind the scenes you just got your internet back.
Man, man. Since September 3rd, it's been a struggle.
What happened to your internet?
So I recently moved, okay. Getting my everything transferred over, and I was being patient, and I was down to my last straw, man, and I lost it on Thursday.
It's like the cable guy, you got to be nice to your internet dude. I hope you were nice to him.
And they were nice to me, man. They was offering me a lot of deals and this, that, and the other. But yeah, man, it was a rough few days.
Okay, well, I'm glad you got it going.
My kids are, they need to get connected to the internet.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you got everything going there. Let's go to Milsurp. Mike also joining us. Boom! What's up, man?
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Welcome back.
Pretty good. Actually, hadn't had the best day. Yesterday I was supposed to get a Winchester 1903. I'm kind of working on a series where I'm going to go over early semi-autos. So I was going to get a Winchester 1903, but kind of got sold out from under me. Then I was supposed to get a Remington Model 8 that I won off Gun Broker today. Found out it got sent to North Carolina accidentally, so it's going to be probably next week at this time before I get it, because as I was saying off screen, gun stores around here are pretty much closed except for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday due to low inventory.
Oh man, yeah, that's really cruel, man. That hurts. It hurts when you're expecting a gun and then you find out they sent it somewhere else. Heartbreaks. Let's see here. Okay, well, and then we also have Richard, BWE Firearms. Richard, what's going on? What's up? Well, you look like, what are you doing over there?
Leave me alone. I'm typing.
Who are you?
I have a hard enough time.
Who are you typing? What are you doing?
I'm answering stuff in the chat.
Oh. What's going on?
I'm doing your damn show for you.
Okay, all right, focus. Be right here. When you heard me talking to Mike, that's the cue that we're about to come over to you, man.
Are you kidding? I didn't get my nap today. I'm so sleepy.
Yeah, just get some soda or something like that, man. Get some sugar in your system.
If I doze off, just start yelling.
Yeah, stop flirting with those people in the chat. Who exactly are you talking to out there anyway?
Who am I? DCG 44.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. Stop flirting with DCG 44. Okay. FYI, that's a dude. No, then DCG now, he's going to be mad. Yes, listen, shout out to everyone out there. I didn't mean it. I don't know. I don't even know who DCG is. Could be anyone. But let's see. Shout out to anyone out there who needs a special Friday shout out. Let us know, and we will give it to you. Smash the thumbs ups. If you guys, where is that? What am I hearing? If either Ronald or Rich or Mike, if you guys see any of your folks out there in the chat, let us know. We will definitely yeah. Why am I hearing myself? Is that something? Some audio's feeding back to me for crying out loud. Who is that? Do you guys hear it?
Yes, I hear it.
So someone check your audio. Oh man, this is really a Friday here. These guys. Now no one wants to confess to that. No one wants to confess to who it was. Okay. Sometimes is it you, Ronald?
Yeah, my hands are here, man.
Oh. Yeah. Good evening to everyone out there. Smash those thumbs ups, as I said. If anyone does need a shout out, let us know. Mongo Go Bang says, hope you guys are getting some cash from Biden. Every ad seems to be his or his communist cohorts. That's true. Mm-hmm. Like for a while there, it was like dueling ads. I was seeing pro-Trump ads as well as pro-Biden ads. Now I'm just seeing all Biden all the time. I'm seeing Obama's up there. Don't let them take your power. That's not how Obama talks. Let me see if I could do Obama impersonation. Don't let them take your power. This is Barack Obama. Don't let them take your power. That's even worse.
Wow.
But that every time I see, I don't know. Listen, every time I see that, I'm like, what? You guys want to take people's power? What are you? Don't let them.
I agree.
Yeah, those guys are out there taking people's power. They're blatantly saying they want to dismantle the Second Amendment. They want mandatory gun buybacks, make America into Australia, all this nonsense. And they're talking about don't let them take your power? I don't get it. Yeah, go ahead.
They should, I would think right now the way things are, they should be real comfortable, like this should feel like home to them, with all the mask and the 6 feet apart and,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they should be happy because people are literally getting arrested, tased, and beaten up over not wearing a mask. So they should be.
Church service in Idaho, where they got arrested for having an outdoor church service. People were getting arrested.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I think the world's upside down. So let's see. Kathleen Music Lover says Richard needs a nappy. He might need a nappy. Yes. Richard, do you need changing? Is your nappy soiled? That's what I don't know.
Little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A nappy. I don't know. Does anyone else? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like a pamper? That's what we call a pamper is like a nappy. So I don't know.
Those are washable, right?
Yeah. Where did I get that from? Maybe that's the cotton ones, the old school cotton ones.
The old school cotton ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I like.
Really?
They feel nice and soft on my bum.
Right, yeah. When I was a kid, I used to have, when my sister was born, I remember they had those back in the days, and my chore was to wash those things.
Oh, no.
Yeah, nightmare.
Nice. Lucky you.
No, nightmare. I hate that idea. So when they came along with the ones that you just toss them out, it's like, oh, technology is awesome. Let's see who. I don't know if anyone out there needs a shout out. I didn't see. DCG44 says the idiot Dems now want SCOTUS term limit. No.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
I
18
saw
years.
about that.
18 years.
Oh, really? That's what they're proposing?
Yeah.
Democrats.
Well, I live in Kansas most of my life, and the Kansas Supreme Court they have an age limit of 75. So once one of them hits 75, they age out. And I've seen a lot of people kind of proposing something like that too.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about either term limits, age limits? You for or against it?
I'm for term limits for Congress.
Yeah.
Right off rip, man. I mean, because you get the sense that they get addicted to that power, and the main reason why they chose to represent the people, it starts to become the smaller thing, then the manipulation starts happening, and people starts putting things into your pockets, and you no longer represent the people. It becomes like an oligarch situation.
So do you also want that for SCOTUS, for the Supreme Court? Or do you see that in a different way? Because to me, I feel, here's how I feel. I feel like we should just leave the Supreme Court situation the way that it is. And I'll tell you why. Everybody's unhappy about it at some point. So awesome.
Yeah.
Let's leave it like that. The founding fathers might have had a really, really terribly good idea. Maybe.
Well, and they really aren't beholden to anybody to keep their jobs. I think that was the intent of the lifetime appointment. As for term limits on Congress,
for sure,
I generally agree with them, but there's also the unintended consequence that could happen that at least when they're in there trying to get reelected, they at least try to put an appearance on of trying to do something for their constituents. Whereas if they're only allowed, 2 or 3 terms, they're gonna, go to the lobbyist well even quicker, I think. And although it's best when Washington does nothing, is generally what's best for the people. When they agree to do something is generally when we all get screwed. So when pretty much nothing happens, when we have a do nothing Congress, it does work mostly in our favor, right? Because they don't make anything any worse than it is.
Right.
What do you think about all of this, Richard? What do you think about Supreme Court, and then on the other side, term limits the justices should not be politicians, but
no, they shouldn't be politicians.
Right.
I don't think there should be term limits, but I think when somebody gets to the age where they can't stay awake, for a session,
when it's
somebody
so important,
ought to come
right?
up to them and say, you really need to retire.
Well, I'm sure people are trying to suggest that, but all of it becomes, I think, it is all politics at the end of the day, right? And it's all strategizing. Yep. So the thing about the Supreme Court thing is no one is ever happy about it. So obviously right now we have Democrats aren't happy because Trump gets to put so many people on the Supreme Court. Personally, I'm happy about that. We don't know what's going to come out of it, right? Bush put people on the Supreme Court. We got some issues with those, with what's his name, with Roberts or whatever. Yeah. But I think no one's ever happy if things, when Obama was there and he wanted to put people on the Supreme Court, Republicans were, this is the way it goes. No one should be happy about this particular thing.
So my thing is like, what the media was trying to, put out into the public was to honor the wishes of the justice that passed. Don't put a justice in until a new president was elected. So, I mean, are we following dying wishes, or are we like doing it the way we need to be doing it?
Was dying wishes in the Constitution? Someone?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me check. Let's see. I got my little Constitution booklet here. If someone knows the page of this where it says we're gonna fulfill dying wishes.
Right.
Let us know about that.
Like it's just emotion. Yeah. It's like, come on. This is what we're supposed to be protected from. No matter how you feel about something, justice is served.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that scares me a little bit about the whole thing, though. He's going to get Amy Coney Barrett in. But the thing that scares me a little bit is that this may cost him the election and the Senate majority. Mm-hmm. And whoever gets elected now, like if Biden wins, it means Kamala Harris is going to get to pick probably the successor for Clarence Thomas and possibly Alito. And that's what scares me, because Clarence Thomas and Alito have been the two rock solid 2A judges on the bench. And I don't want, Kamala Harris choosing his replacement. I mean, I kind of wish.
So, but neither one of those guys is old, right? But I guess
Thomas is 77.
That's okay. It's not too bad. He could survive. He could survive a couple of years. First of all, I do not think that people are actually going to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I do not really believe that's going to happen. If that happens, I predict next time election, that's going to swing back real quick. And sometimes even, this is what I'm trying to tell people, and I don't want that, right? I don't want that. I don't support that. At this point, I'm definitely voting for Trump. But sometimes people need that kick in the pants. I'm sorry. Because what's been happening this term with Trump? A lot of guys out there, a lot of the pro-Constitution guys, the gun guys and all that have fallen into a state of slumber. You know? Yeah, maybe you need something to get, they weren't like this. The one thing I would say, they were not like this when Obama was in there. They were all very well activated and awake. Right? And reacting to everything that Obama was doing. And maybe sometimes you need that kind of crap to get you up and activated and paying attention. I'm not saying us. I think we're all still paying attention to this stuff. And we're noticing if Trump does something, we don't like it, we're noticing it, we're talking about it, and there's pushback.
Take guns first.
Huh?
What'd you say, Hank?
You're not paying any attention, right? Are you checking you're checking your nappy, aren't you?
I'm checking my bolo.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wanted a feather bolo, but this is the best I could do.
Oh, okay. Bolo or boa?
Boa.
Boa. There you go.
Yeah, boa.
All right. Yeah.
Whatever that thing is, that feather thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Armament and Axis wants to know if I believe in voter fraud. Do I believe
voter fraud?
Voter fraud. Well, I don't understand what that question means. Do I believe in voter fraud? Whether I are you trying to get me to incriminate myself, sir? What is that? What do you guys think that means? What does that question mean? Do I believe in voter fraud?
On the surface, I mean, do you believe that it exists? But digging deeper is do you think that we should do voter fraud?
No.
My uncle died in 2005, and he voted for Obama twice and Hillary in 2016.
Right. Listen. Okay. Yes, I believe voter fraud exists. I believe that for sure. That's in America and everywhere around the world. I think that's a terrible thing. I think we should do things about that. But once again, I don't think that the politicians are willing to actually do something about that. It works for everyone. I think this whole chaos thing that we have going works for everyone ultimately.
I believe that us as a country, we got to get it together, man. That should be something off the table, because growing up, going to school, I had got the sense as a kid that, the voting was just this rock solid, secure thing that really nobody could contest.
Okay.
Being older, I see it differently. There's so many nuances to it, so many variables and vulnerabilities that we're stumbling on. I mean, if we're like the rock of the world, if we're this thing that the world looks at for advice and the copy that everybody wants to be, we gotta get it together, man.
So, but what does getting it together mean? I understand what you're saying. I agree with you. Go ahead.
I mean, it should be. I mean, we shouldn't have to worry if our votes are going to be counted, if we're going to be doing absentee ballots. We shouldn't have to worry about them throwing it in the trash. We shouldn't have to worry about it being hacked.
Mm-hmm.
If the system goes down, because everything is connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If the system goes down, is there redundancy to keep this going? You know what I mean? Keep this thing going.
I think the less hands, the less people that are in between you when you make your vote and when it gets counted, the better. That's why I don't like this mail-in voting, because that's just way too many hands touching your ballot. I kind of like when you fill out your little Scantron and you put it in the machine and it's automatically counted.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think the part that Ronald's talking about, which I also agree with, is that, in this day and age, we're in 2020. Okay? We do a whole bunch of stuff with our phones. I've seen people now are putting their checks into the bank accounts with their phones. That's not even like a new thing even, right? We've been doing that for years, right? So if you could do all these things through your phone, I don't believe that we should vote necessarily through our phone, but at this point we should have some secure way of voting that they can verify who's eligible to vote, and you can securely vote, and your vote is counted.
Check.
Yeah, that should exist. We have to do this for a whole bunch of stuff. But we're living in a world where a lot of the politicians, specifically on the other side of this, are saying, "Oh no, people shouldn't even have to show ID to vote. You shouldn't even have to be a citizen to vote."
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do to buy a gun is what you should have to do to vote.
Yeah, if it's truly important. If they're saying don't give your power away, if they're saying this really means something, it should be that. But they don't really mean that. They don't really mean that. There's a lot. I think
if it plays against them losing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If it plays against them losing, they're not going to be for it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like if we want our country to continue to move forward, that's something that needs to be handled, man, and taken care of.
Yeah, Rodney Brady says many states and people have used mail-in voting for years. Stop being scared. Me personally, I'm not scared of that. I've used mail-in voting before myself, right? I don't know if all of you guys have. That's not the issue. The issue to me is that in these times, there should be a more secure way of voting and verification of my vote. And what we're having going on right now is there's lots of shenanigans. So there's always been shenanigans, and we've got more shenanigans, right? But it's in no one's interest, it seems politically, to get rid of the shenanigans.
So take the COVID situation as an example. When the world got closed down, right? Luckily, we are able to start recovering, right? So how do we? There has to be some kind of continuity going on or in place to allow citizens to vote. You know what I mean? And like you said, Hank, it's not in anybody's interest right now. The Chad incident should have never happened. I think it should have been way better.
And that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
How long ago was that thing with the hanging?
2000.
That was the 2000 elections, right?
Yeah.
Why are we in 2020 and we're still doing this?
Exactly.
How come you could drone bomb someone in Afghanistan or Pakistan or something, right? From here remotely, but you can't do that. Where everyone's buying their groceries and everything online.
Right.
Yeah.
We're still in that situation that in some corrupt places people could attempt to hijack an election or stretch all of this out and heighten the confusion. That's really the issue. I'm not afraid of anything. The way I look at it is like this, dudes. Whatever happens. The planet is going to keep spinning without us. If we all want to go into a massive civil war and just burn each other down, the planet's still going to spin. But why? If we have all of this tech, if we could do all of these things, if there's freaking cars driving themselves around and all this kind of stuff, why are we still like this? Why have we not decentralized away from this massive corruption that exists in voting? This is not a side. This has nothing to do with a side.
It's the same. It's the same for, like, you know, when the president gets elected, and he has the speech, and he says, I'll sign it today if you sign term limits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both have talked about it. Both put that on the table, but none of them want to sign it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not in their, it's definitely not in their interest. They want to keep that status quo going on in Washington in this election type system.
Yeah, and everyone is complicit in that. Republicans are complicit in that. Democrats are complicit in that.
They're all dirty.
Yeah, they don't want to let us out of this nonsense. They want to maintain control over us. At the end of the day, we're putting on the political theater right now of Republicans versus Democrats. At the end of the day, it's us versus them, whoever they are, all of them. Shooting Gallery NE says, when did we lose trust in the voting system to where we're in fear of our election, that our election votes are rigged? Because everything's happened over the years to point in that direction. We're looking at FBI agents, right? This is coming out in the news. FBI agents actively conspiring to stop someone's election. That's what we have. We have proof of that. 4 years later, by the way, 4 years later, it's coming out that FBI agents were out there conspiring against Trump and the Trump administration, but no one's in jail. This is why people don't trust things. If you can't trust the FBI, right? If there's all this crap going on, this is why we feel this way. Sorry, I know I cut off. I think, Richard, I'll go with you, then I'll go to whoever else. You wanted to say something, I think. Now
that
you
was
forgot.
then. Now I forgot.
You forgot that quickly?
If it doesn't come out of my mouth right away.
Okay. All right. Who wants to jump in? Who wants to jump in? Mike?
Ron? When you were talking about nobody wants to do anything, I mean, that's not just on voting. That goes to other things too. Like, let's for instance, law enforcement reform, which kind of needs to happen, but it got moved into a whole race thing where it's everybody at each other's throats, so nobody wants to do actual reforms. Democrats don't want to go against the police unions. Republicans don't want to be seen as being against the thin blue line. So, it's to the benefit to both of them to do nothing. But, I mean, if people protesting, like, especially the Democrat side, they keep saying, say her name on Breonna Taylor. Well, Rand Paul actually has the Justice for Breonna Taylor Act. In no-knock raids. He has an in civil asset forfeiture. Justin Amash has in qualified immunity, but I've never, ever seen anybody calling for those. So nobody, with exception of very few who actually do want reform on the kind of the libertarian leaning side, nobody wants actual reform, and whether it's law enforcement reform or election reform.
Yeah. Ronald?
And I was gonna touch on that a little bit, but right now we're very vulnerable. You know what I mean? I just stumbled on an article where they said an NYPD police officer he's caught spying for the Chinese government.
Right. I saw that.
So these things now, if we're not careful, the election can get hijacked. We're so vulnerable right now.
I think elections have always been hijacked. Let me just put it that way. I think that's always happened. I think America practices to hijack elections in other countries. Other countries practice to hijack elections in America. This is pretty much like the Cold War system that we have. This is how wars are fought, right? So this has always been a thing. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, ever since there's been elections, more than 5 people sitting around the room and holding their hand up, there's been election fraud.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's always been a thing, but I agree that we should, for the sake of the people in general, regardless of where those people come down politically, for the sake of, if we actually want to fix things and move forward in the world, I think like Mike is saying, if when it comes to the police, I think everyone in America is going to go, yeah, there needs to be some kind of reform here. It probably starts with there's too many damn laws.
Yeah.
And the drug war.
Yeah, there's too many laws. Too much stuff is criminalized. Let's start there. If these are police officers and they have special powers, then you need to take some time before you give them special powers.
Yep.
Right? There needs to be vetting, training, proper compensation so that the good police officers aren't leaving. When you have bad police officers, you need a way of actually tracking that everyone knows. There's a whole bunch of things. So for example, if you're a police officer, and I'm not, like, I this is one of those things that I'm in the middle of this, right? I don't hate cops, and I don't think cops, like every cop is the most awesome thing on the face of the planet. Okay? But every police officer in America, if you do a certain amount of years, I think it's somewhere over 10 years, then you get a 50-state concealed weapons permit, right? So you could go anywhere in the country and be armed. So there's all these special powers. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that, hey, if you could give this thing to someone, where's the checks and balances on that? You know, how come we don't have 50 states where we're tracking people and going, hey, this guy was working over there and he was doing this thing. Now he's over here. Just, you know.
Cop gets fired and he gets hired 2 counties over.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's all these things that we need to do that I think everyone would agree on that. Let's actually do that. And then we've moved that forward. Go ahead.
It's not 1900 anymore. It's should be real easy to track people.
Right. Exactly.
Well, how did qualified immunity come about? I mean, you should be able to hold police accountable, and you know, it makes it very difficult for normal citizens to hold police accountable. They have qualified immunity.
And this is a conversation that is not being is not happening via the media on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have concerned Americans that say, yeah, you know what, there must be some kind of reform that look like you and me, Hank, and Mike, and and stop pitting us against each other. You know what I mean? We want this country to move forward. We are Americans, you know what I'm saying? And there has to be something. And it just seems like, again, when you talk about the police unions and you talk about, you know, hey, I like police officers. I'm for police officers, you know what I mean? I respect the job that they do, but you have to recognize that there's some changes that need to be made.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I think, like, qualified immunity, for example, one of the reasons why we have that is, all the lawsuits and things like that we have going on. And we have to figure out how to balance those things. Because if you're asking someone to be armed, police officers are they're citizens, right? We're not supposed to have the military acting in America unless stuff is really bad. Okay, so that's a separate thing. The military citizens over here, maybe when they go over to other countries, there's special things involved with that. But here, these are citizens that are armed and are not like, so for example, with us, we may be armed, but we're not expecting trouble. The likelihood that you're going to run into trouble is lower. If you're a police officer and you're patrolling, or you're dealing with cases, right? There's this person's a murderer, this person's a drug dealer. You have a higher likelihood that you're going to run into situations. Okay, right. So that's how that happened, and for sure, just like we're seeing developing here, we're seeing that the way this whole thing went down, for example, in Kentucky with Breonna Taylor, this is like a perfect storm. Perfect storm. Her ex-boyfriend, drug dealer. She's somehow involved in that. They want to talk to her. They have that guy arrested. They go to her house 3:00 in the morning in Kentucky. I'm pretty sure any door you try to kick down in Kentucky at 3 o'clock in the morning is getting
I'm
some lead thrown at you.
Gonna get met with resistance.
Yeah, I mean, so why would you even do that? What happened to like 9 o'clock at night? You know what?
Exactly.
Same thing with no-knock raids. I mean, red flag laws. I mean, they always execute, which those are very unconstitutional, and they always execute those at 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah. Why? So I think that everyone would agree that there's some things that need to happen here. Here's the problem: the politicians all get us confused, and we're all fighting with each other.
Yeah.
So
but that's the way they want it.
Exactly. Guys like us, we're here. We're not out in the streets burning everything down. Some people are on the streets burning everything down. No one's getting what they want. This is how politicians like it to be. This is awesome for them. This is the prime time for those guys. They're bigger than any actor, actress in Hollywood. They're bigger than any athlete, anybody else in the world, because we're all thinking, what's up with you guys?
Right. Exactly. It's like that the tire salesman who is on this lonely road and he digs a pothole like, miles up ahead, and you get a flat tire. You gotta go and get your tire fixed by this guy. Yeah. And that's how politicians are. Yeah. After everything burns down, we're gonna be crawling back and asking for, hey, we need to repair this, we need this, this, and this. Yeah. And he's, what took you so long?
Yeah. So there's some comments coming in here. Rodney Brady says most raids are done late at night. Babyface P is out there. He says they're trying to catch the suspects unaware. That's all good until it happens to you. Then it's not so good because you're like, what happened to you being innocent until proven guilty? Even in this situation, I think with Breonna Taylor, they were saying they just wanted to talk to her.
Not the real.
I mean, they probably wanted to do more than talk. I'm sure they wanted to find things, but you have to expect that if you're going into a home at 3 o'clock in the morning, some bad stuff's going to happen out of that, right? Because if you're banging on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning and someone's getting up, they're not going to get to that door fast enough for you. And once they get to their own senses, anyone out there, tell me the person who someone's banging at your door at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to immediately get up. Even if you hear police, you're just going to get up without thinking about anything and just go open the door for them.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I don't care if they say police or not.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to defend anything.
I'm shooting them.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that, I think I was looking at the Blaze or something like that where they were talking about this today. 3 o'clock in the morning, people start banging on your door. Once you get to your senses, you're going to go to defend yourself because you don't know who's on that door. Lots of people have gotten robbed by someone saying they're the police or whatever, right? So if they're not, if it's so urgent to get you, there has to be something that goes in the way of that gives recognition to why it's so urgent to go to this place. And if they don't answer in this many seconds, that door is going down and all that, right?
It's about integrity, man. And I mean, they have that responsibility to the public, man. Integrity. And if you messed up or if something happened, say you messed up and you own up to it, because what am I going to believe? You or my lying eyes, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I got to go with what I'm seeing, so they have to change. If they want to change the narrative, they have to change the way they do certain things. It's like, I saw, just like with your incident, Tank, when with the police officer, they had the trap.
Yeah. I got pulled over.
Right. I've seen it time and time again where they'll have the driver come away from the car and say, "Hey, where's your registration?" He's like, it's in my glove compartment box. Oh, don't worry about it. I can go get it. Yeah, no, I don't want you to go get it because I'm not consenting to you to go search my car. So I would rather.
No, you can't go get it.
Right. Exactly. So it's about integrity, and they play these little games sometimes, and the public sees this. So it's one straw after another, after another. You know, they got to bring it back in and turn it back into something that's prestigious, that, you know, kids aren't afraid. Kids want to be this when they grow up and help the community.
Well, there's also the whole psychology change in the last generation too. You know, it's went from protect and serve and de-escalate a situation to, you know, dominate the situation at all costs, almost, it seems. And that's and I mean, even in a place where they didn't get killed, but that gal in Ohio watching the football game who got tased for not wearing a mask, and that's just plain the cop trying to dominate the situation. So I mean, that whole mindset and philosophy needs to change too, I think.
Yeah. And so I know, like, I see in terms of the raids, I see like Babyface says, I've thought about it, I'll probably get shot. Night Train says, my brother worked briefly in the warrant squad of the New York City Police Department. He said they always knocked on the door and it was always around 4 a.m. Yeah, I think this is just a matter of there's these guys who have this job, and that to them is the fun time. They're actually going out there hoping something goes wrong. There's no risk assessment. There's no, like, this is a genuine bad guy and this is a drug layer that we're going into, expect resistance or whatever. There's, oh, no, this is a home of a person who probably has a dog that at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that dog's coming for you, and now you're going to kill their dog, or they're more likely armed, and they're going to, you know, there's no conversation of that. And I think if eventually this is where we're at in America, then we're all going to go on the defensive. We're all going to start fortifying our walls and our doors, right? Because we're going to feel like, hey, at any point they could come for any of us, because no one's sitting there thinking this is a good, upstanding citizen, right? Versus this is probably a bad guy, on top of the fact that things like drugs, why is it even criminalized?
Yeah. It's also the quality of the people the police are getting now. Friend of mine is a trainer at one of the police departments, and you know, he's our age. He's, you know, 55 or so, and we were talking the one day, and he said the quality of the people they are hiring now is not what it used to be. You know, it's these young kids who, I just want to go out and kill somebody, you know, or I want to beat somebody up. It's not the old school cops that wanted to help people, you know, and I want to go make the community better, and I want to, you know.
And I could vouch for them, man. All the man. If I've interacted with law enforcement, it's been with older people, and they've been cool as hell. It's like, you know, but it's like the young ones, I
think one of the big problems there is that, so like in my situation, the guy that I was particularly dealing with was a young guy. And all the other guys, from what I heard, made fun of him after that, based on what happened in that situation. But you know what's happening? The older guys aren't going to be on the streets that much.
Right. They're retiring.
Or, you know, the older guys are going to shift off and do other jobs. So the young guys are the ones who are interacting and dealing with people on the streets. They're on edge. And then, yes, you know, we don't necessarily have the best people for that job or for that situation. Like in my situation, if there's a problem of someone having a party somewhere every year, and somehow the spillover from that party becomes a problem for the community, you don't sit on the highway and then pull everyone over that's driving down the road. Or in that case, they weren't pulling everyone over that was driving down the road. They were just pulling over all the black people driving down the road, right? And I got that from a white police officer in that department, that's what they're doing. So if that's your solution, you know, that's not a problem. You want to go to, the party's happening over here. Let's go right there on that road and see who's going in there or whatever. You don't want to just go to a main road and go, anyone who drives down this road that's black, we'll take a look at him. Right? You're just inviting a problem to happen, which is, you know, thankfully it wasn't really a horrible thing for me, but it wound up being bringing a lot of attention to them, and they stopped that.
Right, because it's like I'm doing it, and it's like because I can do it, you know, and that's the thing. So when the public starts seeing this, when the community starts seeing this, there's gonna be some pushback, you know, like you said, like, hey, this is not right.
Yeah, we've been seeing it for a long time, and I get how
Yeah.
if it's someone that's a family member, you get mad. I know I saw someone, I think it was Len Holt. Let me see. Len Holt says, however, the guy shot first, and then the fight began, ending with Brianna dead. Yeah, I think the guy shot first because he didn't know who was coming through that
Who
door.
was there?
Yeah, even though they were saying they were the cops, and I think this is what all got proven in this decision that recently came out, that they were saying they were the cops, but you know, I guess you just don't know. If we're in 2020 and there's no better way, if there's no better way to do that, to do a thing like that, like how did these guys come to the, if they had the bad guy that they were looking for in custody and they were just going to talk to her, so maybe they considered her to be a bad guy, or there might be some more bad guys with her, right? But if it's not life and death to get into that apartment, why do you need to kick the door down?
Right.
You should establish like who you are, you know, to that person in there. Like, hey, we are legitimately the cops. Take a second and look out here. There's a bunch of cops,
right,
you know, out here.
Yeah.
That door was kicked in or dented.
Yeah.
You know.
Let me tell you what's the worst thing. Go ahead.
Most everybody here, I'm just saying, most everybody here would be shooting somebody kicking in your door.
Well, let me tell you the worst part of this, that it didn't go that route, but it could have easily. This is an apartment building. There were other people. So listening and looking and reading things about that, there's an apartment building. There were neighbors and stuff like that were waking up also, and they're telling the neighbors to go back into their apartments. Okay, you get into a shooting situation. There's all these people around here. Do you actually give a shit about anyone else who's around there? Do you care? Like, what if a kid is in their crib and they get shot, or a kid is in their bed? Do you care about that?
Collateral damage.
Well, and here's the problem with that. I don't know about you guys, but someone takes out someone in my family, especially under the circumstances of it being 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're sleeping. Yeah, you're not actually going to be able to pay me for that. We're going to settle that in a whole different way, and it's not going to be fun for anyone. So before you get into that, why wouldn't you think about it? Don't we all have families? Do we want someone to do that, to come into our house at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and not give a shit about who our neighbors are and who else is in that house with us? Because if we don't, we're eventually going to wind up in a situation where all bets are off.
Yeah.
Right? So at some point, we have to think about it, regardless of who we want to like defend or whose side we want to take or whatever, then, you know.
Well, I seen on this grand jury that it was, they said the cops did announce themselves. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen, they had 12 people testify, and only one out of these 12 people said that the cops announced themselves. Mm-hmm. So apparently the grand jury believed that one person over the 11 others.
Well, I think the boyfriend said that they identified themselves, right? Or no? But he wasn't sure of who they were. I mean, you could identify yourself, but who's sure of who that is?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't. Are we living in a world where someone could just say, "I'm the police," and then everyone believes that?
No.
You know, you could just Google it right now, and there's people out there pretending to be the police.
Right.
In broad daylight. In broad daylight, there's people pretending to do that. I remember when we lived in New Jersey. Lola got pulled over by someone just straight up pretending to be a cop. You know, there's people out there that have flashers on their cars and badges. Seriously, there's knuckleheads doing this that are pulling people over and doing all, and they're not even cops. Sometimes they do it to the cops.
Yeah, I think that happened recently. I remember seeing something like that recently, like maybe a month ago, where the guy, he was like on a bicycle, and I guess there was like protests and things of that nature, and he was pretending to be a police officer, and they yanked him out of the crowd and arrested him right then on the spot.
Yeah, Brian Quick says, target ID is your responsibility. The cops knocked, announced, and the boyfriend shot first. Brianna died due to a drug dealer being homicidal. Her boyfriend at the time, and this is how things get complicated, right?
Yeah.
Her ex-boyfriend is the drug dealer, and the police had him in custody. Her current boyfriend at that time was not a drug dealer, had a valid CCW, had no criminal history, and he was completely cleared. And by the way, the cops are going to pay him a bunch of money. Unfortunately, she's dead behind all of that, and who knows if he even knew what kind of a situation he got into.
Right. That too. That's another thing. Like he didn't know who he was dating.
Yeah, sometimes it's, who was it? I think it was Belle Biv DeVoe said, you don't get fooled by a big butt and a smile. What was the line?
Yeah.
Someone will tell me the line.
Poison.
Huh? Yeah, poison, yeah. Yeah.
Trust a big butt and a smile.
Yeah, never trust a big butt and a smile. It happens. I know this sounds crazy, but you meet some chick, you don't know what she's up to. You don't know who her ex-boyfriends are and all that kind of stuff. So I think that maybe this is one of the places where there's misinformation out there, that this particular guy had, he had a valid CCW. He had the right to carry a gun. He was not a criminal. He just didn't know what was happening, right? So it's theoretical that he could believe that, oh, wait a second, this is like her boyfriend or something like that, or her ex-boyfriend. And that's happened a lot. Now, my personal thing that I would advise to guys, no matter how cute that chick is, you meet some chick and this is in her history, leave her alone.
I totally agree.
Big time.
It's not worth it. He actually got lucky that he survived that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Matt Morrison said that girl is poison. Good jam. Brian Quick says I'm wrong, but I'm telling you that you can go look it up or whatever. The boyfriend who shot once at whoever broke through that door was cleared. He's not who they were looking for. They had her ex-boyfriend in jail at the time.
That was the thing. That was the whole thing about it from the beginning. They had the guy they wanted in custody.
Yeah, they had him in custody. They wanted something else from her. So when they were going over there, either they were trying to find stuff that the ex-boyfriend was maybe leaving over there, some kind of stash, or some kind of evidence there to make the case against him, right? That's what they were going for. And what I'm trying to tell you, if you think you're not going to wind up in that situation, okay. I know me as a guy, I'm 48 years old. I've been in relationships with chicks that stuff like that's happened. The minute that happens, I'm out.
Yep.
The minute I realize that, I am out. I don't want any part of that. It doesn't matter to me how cute you are. And it just happens. I'm not saying, I don't know. I mean, she's not alive anymore, so I don't want to get into the
Right.
to the idea of whether or not she was cute enough for all that to happen. But this kind of stuff happens to people, that they're in a situation they don't know. So that could theoretically happen to anyone out there, that they don't know who this person's ex-boyfriend is and what's going on, especially not in a circumstance like that. So, so Babyface P says she was part of the trade. $8,000 was at her place. She was moving the money around the guy's drug business, or for the guy. That's what Babyface is saying. But still, if that guy didn't know that, then he didn't know that. And listen, here at the end of this, she's not here. The city, I guess, is paying out what, $12 million?
$12 million.
$12 million. Whose money is that?
Taxpayers.
That's the citizen.
Yep. Taxes.
Residents.
Yeah.
Taxpayers.
So I mean, we just want to think about this, what exactly is happening in this scenario. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other.
And also
the overall. Go ahead.
Even if what Babyface said was true,
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to the cops to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we still have, I know, we've lost the Fourth Amendment and the Patriot Act, and
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to dump a bunch of other amendments right now, but you still have the right to due process,
Mm-hmm.
and busting it out a door at 4 a.m. is not the best way to go about things.
Yeah, it's all good until it happens to you. So a lot of us are paranoid kind of people. Everyone here, tell me if you don't think the government or someone in the government can set you up for some shit.
Oh, easy.
Yep.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
if you think that could happen, yeah, you could be completely innocent or you could be totally guilty or something in between. When that happens and that goes down, whose responsibility is it to slow everything down? Whose responsibility is it? Maybe the professionals in the situation? Maybe the guys in body armor? You know,
Yeah.
maybe it's those people's responsibility to slow everything down. Because if things go wrong, no matter what, they paid out that money before we even got to this particular decision. Right? And it's the same thing for the guy. You know, so there's a police officer gets shot. Someone's got to pay for him. He's got medical bills. He's going to have PTSD behind that. Who's paying for that? The people. The boyfriend, or the current boyfriend at the time, I'm pretty sure someone's got to pay him off.
Yeah, he's got his lawsuit.
Yeah, he's going to have his PTSD.
This should be coming out of police. This should be coming out of police pensions. Maybe there'd be a lot less mistakes made if it would start coming out of police pensions instead of taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Although pensions is still taxpayer money.
That's all the people's money, yeah.
But still, I mean, that would more directly affect them than. The city's got to.
If this keeps happening, it's it's going to be a strain, especially on any city today that's locked down from this COVID situation moving on forward. You know what I mean? Like just picking up the pieces. At some point, if either they can do it willfully and say, hey, you know what, there's a problem, or certain things are going to have to start happening to that happen,
At the end, man, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems like funny that the people get crushed. Babyface P says take it out of the budget, make the cops more careful. I think ultimately they've got to slow everything down here. The police budget is the people's budget.
Yeah. They need to get the cops back to, instead of being military, they need to get them back to being street cops, being a part of the damn community, walking the streets, not riding around in cars, walking the damn streets, meeting the people, interacting with the people. And if they don't like it, get the hell off the force.
Right.
Yeah.
Quit giving them MRAPs.
Yeah.
And a massive part, a lot of this stuff will be solved by, there's too many things that are criminalized. And a lot of things should be decriminalized. There's obviously horrible things that we could all agree on. Like, hey, you're messing around with kids. That's horrible. You need to get,
Wood chipper go burr.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be dealt with. And there's other things out there that we can say, okay, this is a problem. Are we, even if we decriminalize things, do you guys think that we'll stop having, so let's say we decriminalize drugs. Do you think we'll stop having gangs and drug dealers and all that kind of stuff? You think that will go away?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the Prohibition era, and you look at alcohol today, it's free flowing. So, I mean, like you said in the beginning, there has to be some checks and balances. There are some dangerous drugs that should never be on the streets. But when you talk about, marijuana, I mean, if you look at the ads back then, how they demonized marijuana, and it's like, hey, it doesn't turn your body inside out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Marijuana should be delisted, decriminalized, like not just legalized, but decriminalized. Because I don't even want the government trying to tax it.
Yeah.
Or coming in, you're growing your own in your home. That's tax evasion. You still go to jail.
Yeah, that's just a magical thing that someone made illegal. But there's always been people that can deal in it, though. It's just like cocaine. There's medical cocaine and medical marijuana. There's all these weird. I just don't understand why we're accepting this. I know this is kind of like the theme of our conversation tonight, but why in 2020 why is this still a thing?
Yeah.
Hey, can I make a comment to somebody?
Sure.
Oh well, I mean, I think he's being sarcastic. Can't have a population that's stoned all the time. The thing is, if you decriminalize marijuana, businesses will still be allowed to say, "Hey, you know, you get stoned, you smoke marijuana, you're fired." So, I mean, private business should be able to say it, like, we don't want you drunk at work. So, I mean, they could still test you. They could still test you and still fire you. And I think that, I don't even think usage will even go up that much more.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most of the time, you have to stay sober for your job.
But let me ask you this though: what do you think is worse, the cocaine, marijuana, and meth, and all those drugs, or the things that are completely 100% legal, prescription drugs?
No, the prescription drugs are far worse.
Yeah.
Always have been.
Right. And as a person who benefits and is pretty fat off of someone selling prescription drugs, which I am, I mean, I think, and by that, if you don't know what I mean, Lola is a pharmacist, right? The entire time that I've known Lola, you can ask her, even when she was in pharmacy school, I was telling her the worst things in the world are those legal drugs that they give to people. And the reason why I feel that way personally, I used to work in a halfway home for one of the biggest mental institutions in New York. I don't think it exists anymore. It's called Creedmoor. And it was like a halfway house. So when you weren't all the way batshit crazy, they would put you in a halfway home where you could basically come and go as you please, but they had you on a lot of medications. And I'm telling you, do you ever saw those little paper pill cups that they have in the hospital?
Yeah.
They had plastic drink cups for these people's medications. And I would say, well, why do they have all these medications here? And someone would explain to me, this is the original medication they were on. This one is to counteract the effects of that, the first one. And then this one is to counteract the effects of that. And this one is, and then the next thing you know, these people are taking drug cocktails and they have no clue who they are.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And no care to what they do. So one of the worst things I think in society right now is people functioning on 100% legal prescription drugs.
Yep.
Well, and you know what caused or at least spiked the hell out of the opioid addiction was actually Obamacare, because at a certain point, hospitals would receive their money or their Medicare match, or I'm not sure how but it was on surveys from patients. And one of the easiest ways to keep patients happy is to keep them pain free. So doctors would pump a lot of people with more drugs than they needed to. And if you look at the opioid spike, it's joke all you want about using this term, the hockey stick graph, but the hockey stick happened like in 2013 when this hospital survey thing went into effect. So, and of course now, Trump kind of went the other direction on it, looking over doctors and having government making doctors' decisions. So, I mean, government created the problem and now they're kind of exacerbating it. So, I mean, just need to get the government out of the legal and illegal drugs, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, we have too many people overprescribed, and they're starting people out very young. Like, I know with my kids, the first time they went to a doctor's office, the doctor was like, oh, yeah, these kids need to be on some kind of ADHD medicine. I was like, what's...
Oh, yeah.
They're called kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they jump and bounce around, and they think they're indestructible.
Yeah.
That's called being a kid. Love it.
Yeah, 7-year-old, 5-year-old, 1-year-old, they're all batshit crazy.
Yeah, but what it's really doing is just creating these people that are addicted to this stuff and starting out young. So by the time that kid hits, 16 years old, they've already got several medications that they're taking every day.
Yeah.
True.
And therefore dependent,
And so many of the doctors just want to hand out opioids. I mean, I had a bout with ulcers a couple of years ago. And yeah, it hurt. I wasn't dying from it, but it hurt. And the doctors are like, oh, well, you need, these 3 different opioids you have to take. I said, what the hell for? Give me some goddamn Tylenol. If it hurts real bad, give me some codeine Tylenol. The Tylenol with codeine. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You got to take these heavy duty prescription drugs.
Yeah.
What the hell for? I don't want them. Oh, but you have to take them.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave me the prescriptions and I just tore them up in front of them, threw them in the trash. I said, I'm not even going to get this stuff. I don't need it.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Most of us
I don't know.
need
I don't know
it.
if you
Some
get the
people
prescriptions.
do.
You get the prescriptions for them. I mean, you ever watch The Patriot Nurse? I watched her a couple times a long time ago, and she's always into prepping and stuff. She's like, one thing in the shit hits the fan situation is going to be pain management. So if you get these prescriptions, you might want to just kind of sock them away, for later on. And the only 2 drugs you have to worry about, aspirin and digoxin are the only 2 that'll get toxic when they get past their expiration date. Most of the other just lose efficacy over time.
Yeah.
So, but one thing she always, if you get prescriptions for, even if you get hydrocodone, take the 2 that you need to manage your pain for a couple days and, keep it for shit hits the fan situation.
Yeah, listen, I'm not a medical professional like Patriot Nurse, and much respect out to her. I think that's also a prescription for you to get in trouble, pun intended.
Yeah.
I can just tell you that right now. One, if you have a whole bunch of either the prescriptions or the drugs hanging around, not necessarily, that's not necessarily a good thing for you. And one of the very dangerous parts of that is if you don't have that properly secured, there are people who could get into that and get themselves hurt. And then the other thing, I know, Ronald, you want to say something. The other thing I want to say to you guys is there's this dirty secret in the medical world that you find out if you really work in that. And this is not for everyone, just like with cops. But most doctors are massive drug addicts. I'm just telling you something right now. I know this is a fact, okay? Most doctors are drug addicts. This is the reason why we've gotten to the point now that it's so easy for a lot of them to just write prescriptions without a care to people. And I worked in the medical business for a long time, man. I worked in hospitals from a very young age. And most of the time, being like a black guy, there was a lot of those doctors trying to find out how I could get them drugs. And I was like, dude, I don't know. I have no clue. You have to go ask another black guy because I don't know. Huh? But I'm just telling you something, that a lot of these doctors out there are drug addicts. Okay? And they're taking their own stuff and they're prescribing things to their own selves. So I know if there's some doctors out there, it might hurt your feelings, but if you know the truth, you know that what I'm saying is not wrong. Ronald, sorry, I know you wanted to say something.
I was just saying, that, with the opioids and stuff like that, that's what keeps that, the addiction, dependency, and, if somebody's not careful, they can spiral out of control, very, very quickly, or even overdose, accidentally. So it's something that's really, really dangerous.
Yeah. And by the way, another thing I just want to say on the apocalypse situation, and once again, I am not a medical professional, but I'll tell you this, in an apocalypse situation, a lot of your aches and pains are going to go away when there's a frickin' saber-toothed tiger hunting you every day.
Yep.
I just want you to know this. So, we have it too friggin' easy. We have too much technology right now, so a little tiny pain, we feel it. But our ancestors, their arm, they lost their arm somehow. They just kept friggin' going. And I think that in a real apocalyptic situation, we're going to get, I know everyone's not going to make it, right? Some people actually really, really need whatever medication or whatever it is that they're taking. But a lot of the stuff that most of us are on, we actually get into some apocalyptic stuff, a lot of that's going to go away, baby. It's called adrenaline. Most of these drugs they come out of what your body produces naturally. So if you're actually under stress, working, moving all the time, fighting for your life, I think if you get a moment to go to sleep, you're probably going to go to sleep. So, let me see. There was some, I don't know, let's see, there's James Miller says, "Doctor to Hank, how do I get drugs? Hank to doctor, go to medical school." Yeah. So, and then I wanted to get someone's comment in here. Stephen Harmon says, "Why in the hell is it that every gun video on here has a Sleepy Joe Biden campaign ad on it?" Yeah.
You know what? Hey, thank you, Democrat National Committee. I enjoy thank you for the money, because most of my audience, you're speaking to deaf ears. Mm-hmm. You're paying to put your commercials on my videos. More power to you.
Yeah. When I look at those, by the way, those videos too, you can't skip them. Do you know that? A lot of that Joe Biden stuff, you got no choice. You got to sit there and listen to old Sleepy Joe. Yeah. But I am rolling my eyes and going, okay, dude, whatever. All of these pennies is gonna go for guns, but fine. But they want to advertise to us, and I don't know where everyone's obviously in a different place. I know in Florida it seems like Florida is in big contention here, so there's lots of ad money going to Florida. Where are you, Mike?
I'm in Missouri.
Missouri, okay. What kind of stuff are you seeing? The same thing there? Is this like?
Was it before the primaries? Before the presidential primary, I saw a lot of Democrat stuff. But I mean, to tell you the truth, on my home and phone, I have ad blockers. So the only time, like if I bring up a YouTube video at work, that's the only time I'll see an ad.
Oh, shame on you, Mike. Shame on you. When you look at any of my videos, you need to turn those ad blockers off. And if there's I don't care if there's a 20-minute advertising coming on, Mike. I want you to sit through that. I don't care if it's Hillary Clinton talking about her for JJ. You need to sit there and watch that thing.
Here's my one thing to all YouTubers, because I turn it off. Okay. The mid-roll ads, I turn that off. Mm-hmm. The one thing, the biggest asshole move a YouTuber could do to their audience is turn mid-roll ads on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
Yes, okay, absolutely. You heard it from Mike right here. One of the things I think, so I don't know, I understand what you're saying about that, Mike. I think the reason why you might see a lot more people that do have their mid-roll ads on, and I know even there's some end-roll ads, like we don't have the end-roll on. Because I think the end-roll is even more cruel, right? Like you already watched this whole video, now boom, you're getting it. But I'll tell you why there are people that have their mid-rolls on, and I think even we do. Because of the videos we're making, we're not getting a lot of advertising at all. So what's happening is there's just no advertising. So you turn on those opportunities to get something, right? What's happening in this particular moment is there's a lot of advertising money out there, and for some reason, if you go back about 3 months ago, there were no ads on my videos. But once this political money came into play here, that bumped up, and it bumped up because they want to advertise to us, because guess who actually votes, right? So they do want to advertise to us. So it's kind of a thing, and I listen, every little bit helps, and I think it's different for different people. Everyone's got a different strategy of how they're figuring out how to pay for what's going on, and there is no universal, like we don't have a union in the 2A world where we all sit down and go, okay, no ads, but this is how people are going to do this and do that. So just to speak to the other side of what you're saying, but I have heard people 100% agree with what you're saying, Mike.
I've also seen somebody do a little study, though, that when he turned his mid-rolls off, now I don't think he was a gun channel, but when he turned his mid-rolls off, his revenue actually went up by 37%. Because the one thing mid-rolls, like if you look at your engagement graph, like a lot of times your it'll go down, people just click off with the mid-rolls. So, and if people are clicking off, like if you have a 10-minute video and people are clicking off, YouTube likes it better if people watch the whole 10 minutes instead of watching it at 2 minutes, and that makes you more attractive. Yeah. So I can also see that happening.
It's really bad right now. I mean, I don't look at gun stuff as much as I look at car stuff and all that, just because my head would explode just looking at all the gun videos in the world. I do look at a couple of things, but in anything, there's like 2 ads that come on before you can watch the video.
Yeah.
Right? And then somewhere in that video, you're going to get mid-roll ads. I was looking, now, if it's really, really bad, I'm going to drop out of that. I was looking at a video, and there were ads coming on every 2 minutes. And I was like, wow, this is terrible. You know, but sometimes you don't even have a choice in that. So I'm not saying there may be people who put all of that in there, and then it happens, it hits, and it happens. But YouTube now is just doing things, man. And they want that money. So if your content that you're creating falls in the demographic, the advertisers say we want to hit these people, this age, living in this location, interested in these subjects, right? And YouTube wants that money more than anything. So ultimately, at the end of the day, YouTube controls all of that. So just like they could flip a switch and shut off our monetization, when those people want to advertise to us, they could flip that switch back on, and boom, all of a sudden you start seeing these things. So
now, how do you think this that they're going to start getting more stringent with the age restrictions? Do you think that's going to affect us much? Do you see that email come out this week?
No. What was the email about?
It's basically said that they're going to be doing more they're going to age restrict more videos. They said not like if you already have the gold coin,
right,
you're not going to see an effect. But like for some reason this year, I think I've only had 2 videos get the gold coin.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else has been fully monetized after it's been reviewed by a human person.
Okay.
So, but they said that they're going to start getting more stringent with the age restricting it, which means that'll mean less revenue, because I guess in Europe they're going to start making people in Europe verify with legal ID that they're over 18.
Wow.
So here's what I would say. For sure, YouTube is on the warpath lately. They've completely demonetized a bunch of channels. They've deleted a bunch of channels altogether. So for us, like my particular situation, we've removed hundreds of videos. I think it's something approaching like somewhere between 350 and 400 videos we've removed. Because when we get those yellow coins, first of all, it doesn't make sense to fight it. I saw Brandon Herrera talking about this when YouTube removed the video, and he was like, it doesn't make sense to fight it. Because if you fight it and they find you wrong, they'll
strike you.
Yeah. But if you fight it and they find you right, they're still doing things to you. It's just that you don't know what they're doing because they're putting you in this category. So a lot of times when they demonetize our videos for whatever reasons, and they keep going through the library, so it winds up being hundreds of videos that have been removed, millions of views. Okay, so that's the current thing that's happening. Lola was just telling me when she got in here, she was like, yeah, some of your videos got hit again, because no matter what you do, they might go through that video and approve it, then they add some new thing, and then the algorithm goes through it and goes, oh, no, this now is in violation of that, and that keeps happening. So it's a constant fight that we're fighting and other people are fighting, where some people are just turning off monetization on everything. It's insanity, and I think that it's not going to get any better. I think it's going to get worse. Yeah.
It's going to get to the point where it's just not fun anymore, you know?
Yeah. I think we're past that. Yeah, it's definitely not fun right now.
Yeah. And,
yeah.
I was able to stick in there for a minute, and then I just no monetization,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happened to me last year around this time, that everything was getting the gold coin, and I think I've went about 4 months without making a gun video. I mean, I probably threw something political up there every once in a while, but for some reason I've actually had decent luck this year. But then again, the difference between me and like Hank, this is your livelihood, whereas I'm making $1 a day. So
yeah. It's just a tough deal, and I think we have to figure out alternatives, but there is no, the industry is not doing anything about it. We're not really organized as a group. Like, mostly everyone only cares when it happens to them. So if something's happening to other people, this is just a human being thing, right? It's like, oh, whatever, that's not me. The minute when you wake up and your channel's been deleted, or you've been completely demonetized, or whatever, then that's happening to you. And I think that, Go ahead.
There's so much work that goes into all of this. Like you put your money, you invest your own money into this, and you share this common idea, and people appreciate it, you know. And just to wake up and, you know, hey, this violates the community standard and all this other stuff. It's like it's terrible, man.
It is terrible. I think it is terrible, and at some point you have to ask yourself, yeah, why are you going to keep doing it? You know, the reason why I do this is I enjoy creating content. That's who I am. I'm a creative person, right? I always wanted to be a filmmaker. I think this feeds a lot of that need, because I feel like, you know, when I'm doing these things, each one is something like a film that I'm creating and putting it out there. But so just imagine for me, like I think right now on my channel, there's probably 900 videos. There should be something like 1,400 videos. But when there's hundreds of those videos that we put so much work into, that cost so much money to buy stuff, equipment, be out there, you know, shoot that video, edit that video, get that video up there, promote it and all that. It's up there, it's doing really good. Then these guys come around and go, nope, not this one. Not that one's, you know, no good. That whole thing eventually gets to you. And if you want to continue being creative, you start considering, oh, maybe I'll just stop doing this and go over here where I don't have to fight so much about everything that I'm doing. People have been asking me for a long time, like, why are you even still doing the gun thing? And I think for me that it's just still a passion, and I feel like I want to fight until they, you know, they take me out. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the person that gives up on it, and then if I go away and do something else, even if I'm successful, I keep asking myself, man, what happened if you just kept, you know, fighting and pushing for that thing? But it's a balance of trying to figure out, how do you survive when, honestly, you could really just go do anything else. We're literally talking about fractions of pennies, you know, here for someone looking at a video. So even like we're talking about the advertising that's rolling on a video, if someone's looking at that, it's like a fraction of a penny, you know?
Right.
So you're just not talking about a lot of money at the end of the day. But if you were doing something else that you were also into that they're not coming down on, you know, it would be so much easier. And that's just like this thing that everyone has to juggle and ask themselves, you know, is this worth it? Should I just move on?
See, for me, I think I said this last time I was on here. YouTube's kind of an outlet for me, just so I don't, you know, annoy my wife, friends, coworkers with like history of firearms and stuff. So, you know, YouTube's just kind of an outlet for me, and if people are interested in the history of these firearms, you know, they can come watch.
Yeah.
The thing that's frustrating to me is a lot of the ones that got gold coin are the ones that I think people would find the most interesting, or at the very least, you know, they're looking at this P38 Walther they're about to buy, and you know, that video's got buried in the algorithm for me because, you know, it got gold coined, or like when I made my high power videos. But so, I mean, that's kind of frustrating, but and I was going to a point and I just kind of lost track of my thoughts. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I see Black Sword Shinobi says, I give up my money for you to have money. And I think a lot of people do that, right? And we definitely appreciate that. There's people who support us on Patreon. They buy the patches and stuff like that. You know, they just do different things to support us. There are folks who actually like come in and help us do the things, right? Like people that sponsor, like Richard that's here, Walter, all these other people that are out there. I wish that there was a more standardized way to do all of this, because even Patreon, we actually can't rely on that. Anyone else starting, doing a startup to be something like that, we have the potential that they're going to go liberal, or a liberal place is going to buy them out, and then the next thing I keep saying this, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Somehow in the industry, the firearms industry needs to come together and figure out a way to at least have an ecosystem. It doesn't mean that anything is going to replace Facebook or Instagram or YouTube Twitter or any of those places. But if you have an ecosystem where people can go and do their commerce, and like let's say people go, listen, we know you don't get, there's no advertising here, so we're just going to support you. And here's the thing, we can go, okay, if people can support me through this, and I don't have to worry about someone in corporate going, oh, this is a gun thing. Now that's got to go.
Well, the problem I think that happened to Patreon, and a lot of people kind of mistake them for being anti-gun, and it's going to happen to Subscribestar eventually, because I notice a lot of the big gun channels are trying to push people to Subscribestar. Is that it's like the banks for the credit card companies are putting pressure on Patreon not to support it. So it's not really in their hands. Yeah. And it's not going to be. And you're talking about ecosystem. You're talking about that ecosystem, but we're still going to be relying on those same, credit cards and those big banks to handle those transactions. Yeah. And that's kind of a problem there.
That is the problem, and no one wants that to be processed. And I could tell you, like, I was banned for life on PayPal because I'm a gun guy.
Wow.
Right? So, yeah. I don't want to get into the super details of that, but you guys are going to have to trust me on that. Basically, someone sent us money on there, and not from a firearms company, but something related to the whole firearms world. Someone was like, here's some money, and PayPal was like, oh, no, banned.
Wow.
And I know it's that as a fact, because Lola said, okay, created a PayPal in her name and try to do the same thing, and they were like, and you're banned for life.
Wow.
So, if we're living in a country where PayPal is allowed to do something like that, for something that we're all doing that's 100% legal, that's protected by, the Second Amendment, if it's something to do with guns. And like I said, this was not a gun thing. Something related to it, right? Just a couple of steps away from that. So I think that we're really looking at big trouble. This is where these guys could choke us off. And if we don't figure out a way to do it, then the industry is going to be left behind. And every other industry, if someone's doing cars, if they're doing this, if they're doing that, they have ways that they could do what they're doing in the current world. And it can be, people can be their own, like, independent journalists or whatever you want to call what we are. Those folks in those other sections have a way to do that, and we don't. But when they get rid of us, then they could pick other things. It's like how California is saying right now, well, we're not going to allow anyone to manufacture combustion engine cars after this date. Then guess what happens to anyone? If you're out there making videos about cars and you're promoting like, oh, we should still have combustion cars and all that, they're going to start going, no, we don't want you either.
Right.
That's where that stuff goes.
The moms who demand attention groups, the Bloomberg groups, that's one thing that they're trying to go after too. Is they're trying to go after the banks to stop commerce with, not just, not even in YouTube entertainment, but guns. Period. Not.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing that given the current affairs now, like, you can't even find ammo, and they're the ones that's going and buying, the ammo and the firearms and everything,
Yeah. Let me get a couple of things out here. So Bunny gave us $5 here. He has a question. I'm assuming that, Bunny says, Cyberpunk question. What's the best gun to fight Boston Dynamics style robots once they become sentient? I think an AR and 300 Blackout. Thoughts? Let's start with let's get Richard. What?
Hang on.
Where you going? Don't. Okay, I don't know. Let's see. What round is he bringing? Let's see. Okay, what is this? It's not
silver tip.
That is I call it a 50 thumper.
50 thumper.
It is a Winchester short mag case, cut off at the shoulder, and a 50 BMG bullet stuffed into it.
Oh wow! Who
strictly
came up with
subsonic?
That? Huh? Who came up with that?
I did.
Oh, okay. So that's a Richard. That's a Hoffman.
Yep. Strictly subsonic round.
Wow.
It's fun as hell.
Okay,
quiet.
what guns do you make for that? Because if you don't have something to spit the lead out, it's totally...
Oh,
you got
bolt actions.
Okay, bolt actions. Okay.
I built a couple of bolt actions for it.
Okay, all right, there you go. CB says EMP gun. Let's go to Mike next. Mike, what do you think? What's your anti-robot round?
You know what? I'm gonna have to go with the old 545 by 39 AK-74.
Okay.
Nasty little round, and you can dump a lot in it, and it's fast. It's gonna penetrate.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there you go. Ronald, EDC guy, what are you thinking?
I like the World War II stuff. I think that they're heavy hit. They'll put those androids or robots down. So I'm gonna go with the 7.5 by 55 Swiss.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are going real
GP
deep.
100.
Yeah.
Hit them long
You
distance.
guys are going
Hit them
deep
long
on this.
distance. I want to be close range.
Okay, before I answer mine, I'm going to ask you guys this. Here's a counter question to that, right? What kind of armor are these things going to have? Are they going to actually be armored, or are they just, are they just going to have the lightest skin? That's the question.
See, and that's why I went with the 7.5 by 55. That's heavy hitting, fast moving, long distance. That'll be able to test the armor, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying they might not be armored. You might be able to take those things down with a 22. Seriously,
I don't know. They seem pretty complex to just be,
okay,
not durable.
That's why I'm going with the old 545 39.
Okay.
It's a lot smaller round, but it will penetrate, a lot more likely to penetrate and tumble once it does.
Okay.
Maybe cause some damage in there. But I have some black tip 30-06 for $1,000 too. So
yeah,
if you want to go World War II.
Yeah, Rich, do you think that these things are going to be actually heavily armored? Because I think so. If you're talking flying drones definitely need to be light, right? They need to be lightweight, otherwise it can't fly that long. They're going to have a very short flight time.
I mean, get right down to it. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
We're talking about, okay. Did you
All I heard was robots.
Yes. What if the robots are coming for us? Like have you seen the Boston Dynamics style robots? It looks like a dog.
No,
It's
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, wow, Richard. Okay, you're embarrassing me in front of these guys now. Okay,
you
now
mean
I
that
gotta
thing they've showed they've had for 10 years that
yeah, the little. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have
looks
to
like a freaked out sex dog or something.
Yeah. Hey, watch your mouth. Let's see. Just Google Boston Dynamics robot dog. Let's see here. And here's some video. I'm just gonna play the video that comes up the first for you guys. So this is basically what we're talking about. Why is this not a video? So I'm talking about these kinds of. Oh, here we go. Here's video. This is from Spot, the Spot launch. Come on, skip forward to the robot. So here goes this robot. This thing's not heavily armored. I think I could take this thing out with a good 22. I just need it to be full auto, maybe. You hit this thing on the gears. See, the gears are all exposed over there. So the thing that I'm saying is I really think it comes down to how heavily armored that thing is going to be. That's where so if it's heavily armored, for sure, like these guys are saying, you're going to need something that's going to punch through that armor. But you might be doing overkill. And if you've got a nice heavy bullet, even if it's a heavy fast bullet, if you go overkill, like how many of those can you actually have? How many of those can you carry on you?
Or here, Hank. I'll pimp one of your sponsors here.
Oh, Fort Scott, Fort Scott 556.
Solid copper spun.
Okay, TUI, tumble on impact. Yeah, for sure. I really think it comes down to how armored it's going to be. I think that's what we have to ask ourselves. The drones are not going to be heavily armored anytime soon.
Yeah,
Zephyr 12.
You can't make any kind of robot.
Mm-hmm.
It's physically impossible.
Yeah.
and they proved this back in the Middle Ages.
What do you mean?
With armor. You cannot make armor that covers the body 100%. The joints need to move. You just shoot them in the joints.
Yeah.
That's where the armor's the weakest. Shoot them up under the chin.
Yeah, wherever their microchips are, man.
Yeah.
You know, someone had a funny, Len Holt says, a lasso and a bucket of water. That's the trend. And Brian Quick says, that robot looks suspiciously similar to the killer robot in the Netflix series Black Mirror, Metalhead. And Black Sword Shinobi said, Army robot will be mostly armor.
Yeah, but the joints.
Even the army, it's gonna that armor's gonna be heavy, man.
They have four-legged one too.
Huh?
They have the four-legged one as well.
Yeah, they're gonna probably, so for something like that, it's gonna probably be like a tank, like a little miniaturized tank, and then it's gonna have a gas. See, if like what's powering this thing? That's also the question. If it's powered by batteries, you know.
It's going to have a short run time.
Yeah. Well, also, how easy is it? Have you guys seen an electric car burning? Have you ever seen an electric car burning? Like those electric car batteries are the most combustible things on the face of the planet.
Yep.
You know, so I don't know if I'm not really sure. I would have to see what that thing is to give you guys like my true answer. And if you want if you want just an easy answer from me, I'm just going to say 50 BMG. Boom, there you go. That's why Walter made the SHTF 50. Just get the short one. Get the SHTF 50 pistol. With an arm brace. You know, but I don't know. I would have to see how that thing's armored. That would be the thing that we need to see. How is it armored, you know? Right now, dudes are actually cheaper than those robots. That's the thing you got to think about. Dudes are a lot still cheaper than those robots. So
way cheaper. But then again, the military doesn't care about cheap. You know.
Yeah.
That's why they're shooting multi-million-dollar rockets. I mean,
well, yeah,
it's a missile.
Yeah.
You put an engine on it and a bunch of explosives. That's all you need.
Yeah, probably that's what they would do to
garbage.
us. Yeah, probably that's what they would do to us. They would just fire missiles at people.
Yep.
You know, not much you could do about that except go live on the ground. I don't know if that, Black Sword says, good choice. Has anyone been looking at that HBO show Raised by Wolves?
I want to see it. I love the trailer. It looks like it's really good, man. Yeah. It looks like really good.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll just put it to you that way. It's really, really weird. Not in a bad way. I think it's good, but it's really weird. Mike, I don't know if are you into sci-fi at all?
Yeah, but I don't have much time to watch TV right now.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not even sure I've heard of that one. But
yeah, it's called Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves. It's the same people that made the Alien movies. So I think it's in the same universe as the Alien movies and Predator.
Right.
So
they're gonna fight wolves.
No, there's a robot in there. So if you ever look at the trailer, there's a robot in there that's pretty badass. But before we get to that kind of technology that you're seeing there, we're way away from that. Our great grandkids aren't getting there. I mean, we can't even decentralize voting. So that's why I'm gonna agree with Richard on that. They'll just go old school on us. They could make most people in America bend the knee by just cutting off electricity.
Shutting off Facebook and IG.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Shut off social media. Everyone in America's go, okay, I surrender. I give up. I can't show how big my butt is on social media. I give up. I surrender.
We got to show how big our butts are?
For certain people. Social media is all about the ladies. The ladies are the biggest thing on social media. Am I wrong in that? there's only a couple of dudes that are really big on social media.
I don't know. I think I'm bigger than some of the girls on there. Most of them are little skinny things.
I'm talking about numbers. I'm not talking about booties.
Well, I'm talking about numbers too. Numbers on the scale.
Yeah. Someone's asking about the ass missiles. Yeah, they'll ass missile the living daylights out of us, but ass missiles are going to be for special people. Everyone else is just going to lose electricity, water, the internet, stuff like that, and then you'll be begging for mercy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, huh?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's talk about what everyone does here. I'm going to start with Ronald this time, EDC guy. I'm just going to go and throw up let's see. I'm going to put I know you've got a book out. Here we go. Erica's Big Day is the website that people need to go to, and I'll throw the website up here. Erica's Big Day from the EDC guy. Do you want to tell the folks what this book, Erica's Big Day, is all about, Ronald?
Yeah, so Erica's Big Day, she's the superhero in the book. She goes to school. She goes around rescuing her friends from unattended firearm situations, so they could see their big day. It's just a good book and a door to opening that conversation with your children or, the little ones in your family, and just teaching them how they should respond if they should ever stumble on an unattended firearm.
Okay. What's the best way for people to get that book? Is it through your website? Is it available on Amazon?
Definitely through the website, www.ericasbigday.com. I'm currently shipping, so it takes me about 10 days to process everything and ship it out. So.
Okay. All right, there you go. So you can see the book, that he's got the book there, but here's the website, ericasbigday.com, that Ronald's talking about there, and then show the book once again. There you go. All right, awesome. So you guys check that out and help support that book. I think you're doing some, did you already put out a video for that, or?
Yes, so we dropped the book, did an introductory video to the book. It's just the foreshadowing of what the direction we're going. Me and my Evan from Heavy Metal Lifestyle 223. So we're actually working on our first episode for the animation. We're going to do like a short series.
Oh, cool.
So it's currently in the works. So we're very excited about that.
Okay, good work. Good job there. Let's go to Mike. Mike, I'm going to throw up your YouTube channel, right? That's the place that folks out there could go to. And it's Milsurp Mike. Do you want to tell the folks about your YouTube channel, what kind of videos you do?
In general, I do just mostly historical firearms. I try to go over the history of them. My original intent was to kind of be like a Cliff Notes version of Seeing Arsenal. So, if you didn't want to watch a 2-hour video on something, you want to learn about something in 10 minutes, you get the Cliff Notes version of it. If you want to go in depth, definitely go to Seeing Arsenal. But and I'm a lot more broader too. I mean, I don't just stick to a certain era. I just kind of do different things in my collection. I do, like, I've hit Soviet and Russian rifles pretty hard, but I mean, I've also thrown a few Mausers up there. I'm probably going to hit some Carcanos this fall, as a lot of those are hitting the market right now. So it's kind of a strike while the iron's hot thing.
What's a Carcano? How do you spell that even?
Carcano. They were Italian rifles. A lot of people aren't big on them, but basically Italian rifles, the long rifle through World War I, and is mostly the carbines of World War II. But a lot of them
Kennedy.
One of them killed. Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald used one to kill Kennedy.
Okay.
But there's a lot of them hitting the market right now because like the websites like Classic and AIM are selling a lot of the cavalry carbines and the 1938 model carbines.
Okay.
So So I'm gonna probably do a series on them. Once I get a little bit bigger, I might start doing a whole series of my American rifles. But I also did like a biography, kind of a biography video on Mikhail Kalashnikov, and if I find other interesting figures of history, I might do that with them too. But there's just a lot of good information out there for Kalashnikov.
Okay, yeah,
So,
I'm going to see it. The life story of Mikhail Kalashnikov.
Yeah.
And development of the AK-47.
Yeah, and then because originally I was just going to do my Saiga AK-47 and hit the history of that, but that was just getting to be. I'll try to keep my videos like 10 to 15 minutes, but that was just getting to be too long for that video. I just kind of separated that out and actually got Brandon Herrera to help me out with the intro. So that was cool.
I saw Brandon on there. I was going to ask you, did you actually get him in there? Okay, cool. That
Yeah,
was nice.
I was actually able to get a hold of him through a mutual friend. So.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, very nice. And let's see here. Let's go to Richard. Richard, I'm gonna throw up BWE. Just it's Friday. I want the people to see where they could go support you guys out there. So BWE, what exactly do you guys do? I see there's a lot of like Uzi stuff on here.
Most of this gunsmithing I'm doing is open bolt submachine gun stuff. Well, I'm starting to do some more MP5 stuff, Hank.
Mm-hmm.
You bastard.
I
do a lot of
Uzi
stuff.
MP5.
I do a lot of Smith & Wesson 76 stuff, Swedish K, Thompson's, all the old open bolt stuff. Do some MP5 stuff. And I would be doing general gunsmithing. I just don't have time at this point. And I also do a line of parts, mostly submachine gun stuff, Uzis, 76.
So we would find those parts where in accessories?
If you go onto the website, up on top, I think it's store. It's either store or shop.
Oh, Uzi parts? And then Smith & Wesson 76 parts?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you can pull down all the...
Oh, cool.
All the stuff.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay.
We try.
Yeah. Apparently there's a lot of Uzi parts.
Yep. A lot of Uzi parts.
A lot of barrels and stuff like that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to assume that's where your first love is with those things, and you're not like a super fan of of the things like MP5s, right? I think we've had that conversation.
I like the open bolt stuff best.
Okay.
I like the older stuff. MP5s, they're sexy. They got the ergonomics. Mm-hmm. There's a couple little things that they won't hold up for a subgun match when I'm putting 500, some of the matches 1,000 rounds through, in an afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's cool, man. I wish someone would. You are the guy in the position to do something about the MP5 issues.
Yep.
You should come up with a fix for that, and I will make you. Because I'm personally looking forward to getting my MP5, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna, especially in the beginning, I'm gonna put more than 500 rounds through there.
Yeah.
So,
we're definitely gonna put some rounds through it.
Yeah.
Because I'll bring up my post sample pack, and we'll throw the full auto pack on that thing, and do some rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So I want to see if what you're saying here is true, or just you bear some hostility towards an MP5.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say
hostility. Sounds like hostility. Sounds a lot like hostility to me. Okay, cool. I don't know if there's any questions about anyone there. I see someone said, I guess when Mike was talking about the Carcano, James Miller says, or it was used as a prop to make people think Oswald killed Kennedy.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of conspiracy.
The grassy knoll.
Yeah.
The grassy knoll.
Just a little bit. And Rocky Mountain Bear says you can find a photo of John Browning in the dictionary under the word legend. Brian Quick says the Warren Commission said it was Oswald was the lone gunman and the government would never lie.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So, and James Miller says, yeah, I'm glad they cleared that up for us. Wow.
See, now one thing that's for sale locally, and I'm debating on whether to get it or not, because I mean, I already have a couple Carcanos. I have a World War one coming in for the little series I'm going to do, but somebody locally has one for sale, an Oswald Carcano, where it has the same Hollywood scope on it that came on the gun that he ordered. So but they're asking a pretty penny for it, so I'm gonna have to get them down if I want to get it. But I'm debating on whether to get that or not and do a video on it.
Okay, what's the going price for those nowadays?
To tell you the truth, I'm not sure. I need to do more research myself. I know what he's asking, but I don't know if I want to divulge that here. Because, like I said, I need to do more research. He's asking a lot more than what that T-38 Carcano goes for. So, I don't know if that with that scope on it, just for the historical factor, makes it that much more expensive or not. So I need to do a little more research myself.
Yeah, maybe. I think maybe the old scopes are a thing nowadays. Let's see. Babyface says, should I just put a pick rail on my MP5? That's a question from Babyface P. I'm guessing that's for Richard, unless you guys might have an opinion on that.
Depends what you want.
Yeah.
I'm cheap, so I always run the Burris fast fires on my guns. And I just the MP5s I've built for myself in the past, I just put the standard sights and then I put a mount for the Burris fast fire, and that way it co-witnesses with the sight, and I don't even worry about a rail.
Yeah. Now, me personally, I like the idea of a rail.
Yeah, you need a rail on that because you're going to be doing a lot of different videos.
Yeah. So
nobody gives me free stuff, so
nothing in
sends
life
me
is free.
scopes to do videos on, or
I would just say nothing in life is free.
Yeah,
it might look that way, but it isn't. There's always strings attached to everything. But yes, I understand what you're saying. More than likely, statistically, I am highly likely to be putting a bunch of different things on there. So I would just go with a Picatinny rail, but that's me. And then. So HK never made it like that, or they are making it like that now, but they didn't in the past?
I think the new ones that they're doing, I'm thinking they have a rail on them now.
Yeah. By the way, Black Sword Shinobi says yes, Babyface P. But he spelled it P-E, like Pe, Babyface Pe. Which I actually like that. I like that name. We'll just call him Babyface Pe from now on.
Babyface pee-pee.
Yeah.
Because he go pee-pee.
Yeah, and he says, and a red dot scope. Okay, so there you go. I don't know if there's any other questions, comments out there. Let me see. We're running out of time here. There is one thing I did want to share with you guys, and then we'll do like a roundtable thing here and talk to everyone. Olight still has that sale we were talking about yesterday. Yup, we're doing an Olight thing. So Olight has a flash sale still going on. I think it goes till midnight. They've got the Warrior Mini for $55.97, which you save like $23. They've got a Warrior Mini bundle where you can get 2 lights for $61 and save $40. They've got a mega pack. Oh, that's sold out, mega pack. And Olight is doing, which this is interesting, they've got the RN 1500 bundle, which basically that's an Olight for your bicycle. So all you guys out there that bicycle. And you might want to wind up doing some bicycling at night or whatever. You want to be really visible. They've got a bicycle light for $58, where you save $38 right now. And it's the light, and the bundle gives you a red light in the back, which I think is really cool. So I'm gonna try to get my hands on this actually and test this out. Believe it or not, I do have bicycles. For anyone who's thinking that, I actually like. I figured out. I don't know how old you guys were when you started riding bicycles, but for most of my life growing up, I didn't actually ride a bicycle, and then I decided I was going to get a motorcycle
I
license.
started late.
Yeah, me too. I started late. When I decided to get a motorcycle license, or the motorcycle endorsement, I was pretty terrible because I never rode a bicycle, and I went out and bought bicycles and other stuff, and actually found out that I like riding a bicycle, and it's a great apocalypse thing, right? Think about that.
On a belt fed on the front, you're good to go.
Yeah, belt fed, a belt fed 22. That's what I would do on the front of that. So, yeah, I think bicycles are cool, man. And if things really get bad, we might wind up having to go back to bicycle power.
Most definitely, we'll be using that.
Yep. I like riding my bike.
Yeah, it's good exercise too. And for the most part, there's all kinds of different bicycles. You could have your bicycle in your car or something like that, in your truck or whatever. If things get bad, you can get out of anywhere on a bicycle. You can go off-road, all that kind of stuff. So, Len Holt says he started bicycles at a very early age. So there you go. Let's see. Okay, so let's go around here. Let's start. I'll start with you, Rich. What's the stuff? The weekend's coming up. What's the stuff that's most on your mind right now? Is it politics? Is it guns? Is it you just want to get some sleep for the weekend? What's going on?
What's on my mind most?
Please don't say. I hope it's not.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
You're a little bit too old for that,
It's probably cleaning out the coolant sump on my lathe, because I've been dealing with that for about 3 days now, and it's nasty. Oh, okay. Nasty. Yeah. Rather clean toilets at this point.
Yeah, the coolant sump. Oh, okay. Does that get really caked up and muddy? Or?
Yeah, and considering I haven't cleaned it in a couple of years.
Oh.
It and the coolant went bad. So it's nice ammonia smell in it. And
how often is a person supposed to clean the coolant on their lathe?
Well, after I talked to the company and I said, man, my mill has never given me a problem. My lathe, it stinks and everything else. They said, well, how long has the coolant been in there? I said, I don't know, a couple of years. And the guy started laughing. He said, you're supposed to change it no more than, or at least once a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought they would say every month or something.
Yeah. No, they said, clean it at least once a year.
Yeah. Yeah, because if I had this correctly, that coolant stuff, a lot of the shavings and all of that from whatever goes into that, right? And it usually looks like a milky substance. Yeah, that stuff looks really dirty. It lasts a year.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how the zombie apocalypse is going to kick off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I figure I'll get it.
Yeah. So, all right. So cool. That sounds like a lot of fun for you. Let's see, Ronald. What are you gonna be getting up to this weekend, man?
Well, I'm actually gonna be looking forward to using this. It's called Relay. It's a screenless cell phone for my kids, because I feel like they're a little bit too young to have like a smartphone right now, and I really want to filter that, be that blocker between the internet and them. So it's really cool. Something that you guys might want to look into if you have smaller children, grandchildren, things of that nature. It's called Relay. And it's a push to talk feature, or you can talk real time like a cell phone. It's exclusively at Target right now. What we're working on is like a list of products that Erica can give her from, Erica's Big Day, to give her stamp of approval. So to get on that list is going to be like harder than it would be to get like a blue check on IG. So
okay, all right, yeah. So how, just out of curiosity, how does that work? You're saying it's push to talk. So if you want to talk to her, it just comes through the speaker. There's no headsets or whatever. How's that?
Right. You can. It has a port for headphones if you want. Also, for me to be able to talk to my daughter or my son, because I got two.
Mm-hmm.
You have the app that you install on your phone, and through that app, they'll be able to communicate with you. You can, send a ring, like ring their relay,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to them. You can also add another person onto the account, like mom,
Mm-hmm.
if you want, and mom will be able to talk to them via that app as well.
Okay.
And then you can also, if they have friends that have relay, I can allow them to talk to each other if I want.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that's
yeah,
interesting.
it's really,
Might need that for some old people too.
yes. They do talk about that for the senior citizens, just to keep track of them, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you get lost sometimes. So,
Yeah.
and it's a GPS tracker as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay, very cool. Yeah, might even want to put one of those on your dog. Yeah, keep track of your dog. So no matter where you are, you could call up your dog and talk to him. I don't know. That sounds interesting.
Right.
All right, so let's go to Mike. Mike, what's your plans for the weekend, man? I know your guns didn't come in. Are you just gonna be crying over the weekend, or trying to track down those things?
No, I mean, I know that the Remington Model 8 and the Carcano will be in next week. And I'm not going to be able to take those out to shooting till next weekend anyway. I mean, I work tomorrow, but I'll probably just, I'll work on finishing up my next video. It'll be on the FN48, which is kind of the precursor to the FAL. So that'll be coming out on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, basically just, I mean, nothing really exciting. Probably just hanging out with the, wife and kids on Sunday. So.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. That's to me that's like the fun part of the weekend for me, man. I just enjoy being able to hang out with the family on the weekend. That's better to me than even going out. I just want to hang out with them and talk and catch up, because your weeks get crazy, right? Everyone's off doing stuff. It's just cool to hang out with them on the weekend. So I know there's some questions and things like that coming in. I see people are asking some questions. What I would say here, since we did hit the 9 o'clock hour, I'm going to ask these guys to tell you all how you can get in touch with them, and then this way they can they can get most of those questions. I'll take a couple. I see John Voorhees says, Milsurp Mike, what caliber is your Carcano in? So what's
Just the 6.5. I don't have any of the 735. 735s, I think, is the other one. It's just the 6.5s.
okay.
6.5 millimeters.
Okay. And then I think someone was asking BW if you have a Smith & Wesson 76.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You better, if you're selling parts for.
Yep.
Yeah. You better have one of those. But let's do this. So, Ronald, if you could just tell the folks out there, if they do want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
You can find me on IG at the EDC Guy 073, or my YouTube channel, the EDC Guy 073, and that's the best way.
Awesome, thank you. Richard, best way for people to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me, you can email me at richard@bwefirearms.com. You can contact me, use the contact form on our website. I'm also in whatever variation they make me use on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
Just got on to Full 30.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I'm on Parlor.
Man, you're international.
Yeah, I'm international. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm trying.
You need one of Ronald's phones. You need that.
I'm even on BitChute now. So.
Oh, please. Okay, and then Mike, what's a good way for people to communicate with you out there?
Milsurp Mike channel on YouTube. I also have Facebook page, Milsurp Mike. My Twitter, my main page actually got suspended indefinitely this morning.
Really?
So
what did you do?
So I probably tweeted something I shouldn't have. So probably was actually deserved. But I have a backup, just basically at Milsurp Michael on So trying to build that
so
up
we have
again,
to go to IG to see. You're gonna put up there what you did, right? Like, so we can all see.
I don't know. I don't know if I should do this one or not. I mean, I woke up early. Well, it was a response to the article some gal wrote that we need to have climate change lockdowns, and so yeah. But anyway,
but somehow went wrong, and Twitter smacked you up. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the main thing is the Milsurp Mike channel on YouTube. That's my main thing.
All right, awesome. All right, listen, I want to thank the EDC guy and BWE Firearms as well as Milsurp Mike for joining us. All you guys out there for joining us. Smash the thumbs ups right now. Really appreciate that. Stick right there. We're almost close. I'm going to run the end in for everyone out there. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel here. Ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. Smash those thumbs ups. And leave your comments and questions here on the video. You can find us on iTunes and all the other places that you get your audio podcasts from. Big thanks to Walther Arms for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate them. Big thanks to all these guys for coming on tonight and making this Friday fun. I hope did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Awesome. Yeah, we're not getting kicked off like last night. Apparently, the internet crashed last night. I think Google, YouTube's, all that stuff crashed last night while we were on, but it wasn't us. I don't know, something else. Someone else did something.
You broke the damn internet.
It wasn't us. It wasn't us, but it did crash, and we don't have that tonight. But shout out to everyone that's out there. Thanks so much. Be safe, guys, over the weekend. We'll see you all back here Monday. Thanks so much, everyone. We're out of here. Who wants the last word? No one? No one wants the last word?
Have fun.
Have fun. There you go. There's the last word. We're out. Peace.
There we go.
Stay.